Well, this is where residents in the Msunduzi Municipality have now gathered at the City Hall. They are raising their plight over ongoing water supply challenges. Nobuhle Modise is there following the story for us and joins us now. Nobuhle, good morning. You're there with the community members. Again, we spoke earlier on about this not being a new issue. There are some severe infrastructure challenges in Msunduzi. We know that previously as well it's been under administration. Talk to us about what the community is saying where you are.
Indeed, so there was a short meeting that was held here on these steps of the City Hall with the Msunduzi Mayor, Mzimkhulu Tebola, and many residents here just stressing the fact that there isn't enough communication that's coming from the municipality, number one, and that they themselves don't understand what the term water curtailment means, because what they understand is that water curtailment simply means, reducing the pressure of the water, not letting all the water stop running, and many areas have been affected by this. I actually have with me a resident who's going to speak on behalf of business and how his business has been affected by this, because we understand that they haven't had water since Sunday, and there are areas here in this particular municipality that have been without water for about a week. Thank you very much, sir. Speak to us about how this has affected business.
Yeah, for sure. So we run a manufacturing plant in Mkondeni, which is the largest industrial area in Pietermaritzburg. And over the weekend, there was no water, no advance warning that there's going to be water cuts completely, which meant that obviously based on health and safety regulations, we had to send our employees home. We had to now invest in Jojo tanks or storage tanks so that we can continue our production environment. So it's obviously impacted on businesses, it's impacted on the employees, obviously, and obviously the residents that are around that area for that matter. So yeah, it's becoming a major challenge, and as the reporter has just said, the definition of curtailment was suggested that it will be a reduction in the amount of water that's coming through the system. But we're sitting with areas that have been without water for sometimes 3 to 4 days, and I believe some areas are even longer than that, without any explanation, and our water management gives us no positive feedback. If anything, we do believe that they are interfering with valves so that they can feed certain areas and cut off certain areas, which is completely unfair to ratepayers as a whole. So yeah, we stood here today and we appealed to the mayor and the municipal manager. We appealed to them to be transparent, define water curtailment and manage it correctly, and also be transparent to what the reason is that there is being these water cuts.
You heard the mayor there being quite adamant that there's nothing inconspicuous about what's taking place here, and the fact that this is indeed water curtailment. What's your response to this, particularly because you guys say that there is an amount that's owed to the water board Tugela that hasn't been paid, and this is why we are seeing what's taking place here? These are some of the murmurs that we hear from some of the residents who gathered here today.
Well, without having the facts, let's see what happens after this council meeting, but there's been a lot of rumblings around that is actually the reason for the water curtailment is the fact that most likely our Msunduzi municipality is owing Mgeni a huge amount of money. That's what's been talking around the community. I can't say that's a fact, but we'll find out after the council meeting. And that might be the real reason, and that's probably why it's so inconsistent in terms of how the water is being cut.
Maybe take us through what some of the places that are without water are.
So yeah, areas like Athlone, Howick Road or Old Howick Road, Montrose, Chase Valley, you've got Mountain Rise, you've got Woodlands, you've got Mkondeni, you've got Cleveland. These are all areas that have been without water for more than 3 days in some instances.
Thank you very much. That is Jitesh Roy, and he is a member of the community. He's come out here also just to hear what some of the reasonings are from the mayor of the city as to why it is that they are having water cuts and they're not seeing the pressure of the water being reduced, but instead seeing water cuts. I also have another resident here with me who was very vocal earlier, and you would have heard Mr. Roy there just speaking to the fact that the mayor is actually in a council meeting at the moment, and he had come out to listen to their concerns and went back into that council meeting. But this was someone who was very vocal around the issues here in Msunduzi, saying that they stem, it's a long-standing issue, and this is something that needs to be dealt with immediately. Thank you very much.
Yes, my name is Jisagelo Hatebe. I reiterate the clarion call made by citizens that Msunduzi is taking us for granted and is taking us for a ride. For the past 7 days of late, we have had no water, and there's been no explanation to that effect. Some other residents of areas like Vulindlela, Kaluza, Mpomuza, Imbali, Itindale, France, predominantly where black middle class resides, don't have water. Equally, if you go to the township where you expect that these people are paying rates, so they are important citizens because they do assist the city in paying. I'm not saying that they should be. I mean, I'm not saying the municipality must provide for some and not for all. But even those who are paying for water can't be given explanations because we thought that we were not giving explanations because we are living in Bantustans. There is no proper systems. But even people who are living in the city and rising the city, businesses in the city who are contributing to the economy of this country and to this great city have no water. Some of them are shutting down businesses. Not water alone. It's electricity. It's mismanagement of funds. It's potholes. It's illegal immigrants occupying the city, drawing water from the fire hydrants. Water curtailment is used as an excuse, as a shield. Water curtailment does not mean there should be no water coming out of taps. It means that we must mitigate a potable risk of day zero, but does not mean that residents must be deprived of their human right. Water is a basic human right. It's non-negotiable. There are no two ways about it. Any question?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's a community member. You would have heard him there speak about what water curtailment should be. And another resident was speaking to me earlier, telling me that we've had about 4 days of rain, and that shouldn't be an excuse for this particular municipality to say they're unable to provide water in terms of water curtailment. But I'll hand back to you, Iman. We will be speaking to the mayor once again, as soon as he comes out of that council meeting.